Hello, welcome to another tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy. You can call me Mike if you like. The painting I'm bringing you today is called Into Sunset. It's a 5x5, painted this last week. And a few interesting little things about this painting. One, it's painted on a board. It's a pine, bit of pine ply. I have a stack of these from years ago, and it's been prepped with I think it was prepped years ago, to be honest, too, with transparent gesso and burnt sienna. So if you look at the earlier days of the channel, you'll see this is what I painted on. This was the color I painted on for many, many years. And it really is pretty awesome. It really supports the landscape painting, because these bits of red that will be peeking through, they create a really nice vibration against the greens and things like that. So maybe try it. And one of the things, so this is my second go around on on recording this video, because apparently I didn't have my little headphone thing plugged in, microphone thing plugged in. So we're taking another crack at it today. And this will be Christmas Day over there where most of you guys live. Here it's the day after Christmas in New Zealand. It's December 26th. And so what's the deal with this? Well, okay, I had a really fancy little frame I've had for a little while, and I had another painting in it. And a person came into my studio. They were interested in that painting, but not the frame. So I yanked it out of the frame, and what it is was like, usually, you know how the frame rabbit will come up into the frame. Well, I had this frame set up so that there would actually be a bit of a float. So I have a board back behind, and you see some dark, and the painting has a float around it. So I've got this show coming up, and I thought, well, a couple of pieces like that would be awesome to have in the show, with kind of like the last one I did. Actually, same deal. I had a fairly fancy frame and a small painting. So what I do in that instance, I know a lot of you are painters. If you do that, you know, normally I never, I don't mark up frames. You know, I just sell the painting at my price. I sell the painting at, like, you can see this painting in my store for $125. If I have a really nice frame I put on something, what I do is just add the frame cost to it. So this frame I have is maybe a couple $100 frame. A really nice gold leaf frame, looks awesome. So that's the story there. Yeah. And I think I flashed the frame in the members area video. You'll see that, where I'm doing the whole members area. I do, like, you can see my reference image. I do a little introductory talk where I talk about the things I'm going to change or modify from that reference image. Of course, that's not always everything. Things come up as you're painting that you leave out, and that really is something you should do. But so there was a couple things that I talked about in the video that I did, the recording I did that didn't record, that I thought would be good to talk about. And one a bit of it was just going off of this burnt sienna background. So back in the day, if you look at the early days of the channel, you'll see this is the color I was painting on. One major difference, though, was our whole underpainting here was done with just lamp black. Not much difference between lamp black and ivory black, by the way. But back in the day, I was doing a chromatic black, and if you don't know what that is, you can buy tubes of chromatic black from various different suppliers, but it's very easy to make your own. The way I used to make it was with phthalo green and alizarin crimson, and that makes a very, very dark color. It's very dark. It's not as black as black, though. But it works. It works okay. I think for tonalism, actual black works better, and this is the thing. Once I started using real actual black, I was able to start mixing better greens, because my basic green on my palette is, I call it Mike's green, because you know, no one had ever taught me about it. I basically just figured it out on my own. But I've been talking about Mike's green for a long time on the channel. I know where I was getting new people, so if you heard about the Mike's green thing, I'm sure there'll be some other nuggets of information in there as well. But the beauty part of Mike's green, I make it with acrylite yellow and either lamp black or ivory black. It gives you a green that is, it's warm, it's earthy, it's not in your face and fake looking. So, you know, say you're trying to mix a black, mix a green with, say, ultramarine blue and yellow. Yes, it makes green, but you're going to have to modify that quite a lot to start getting the sorts of greens that you're seeing in nature. The thing is with the Mike's green is that it's already a great basic green. You could use it the way it is. A lot of times I like to chuck a bunch of burnt sienna in it, and it really looks good. So the middle tones, maybe I do a bunch of burnt sienna. The darker tones, I might throw in a lot of alizarin crimson and sometimes a little bit of phthalo green too. So you can modify this basic green a lot of different ways. Now all that's basically covered in my book in depth. And you're going to see an ad for my book coming up. Many of you have taken advantage of the book being for sale now, and it's still $55. I may need to raise the price soon, as we're losing, the US dollar is starting to lose against the New Zealand dollar. Anyway, we've got an ad for the book coming up, so please just make it to the ad, and we'll get into some more good color information afterwards. And we're going to have the ad in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Do you want to paint tonally? Do you want to paint better? Tired of trying to find the info that you need? There are hundreds of videos on this channel. You could watch for days and not find the info you need until now. Introducing my new book, Landscape Painting the Tonalist Way. Everything you want to know in one place. Order your copy today. Landscape Painting the Tonalist Way. That's the cover there. Just click the link below the video or go to my site. There's ways to order it all over the place there. I'm still doing 55. I'm going to do 55 for at least another couple weeks, and I probably got to raise it to 60. So get in there now. Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm making so little. I live in New Zealand, Northland, which is the North Island, the northern bit of the North Island. And after the Corona virus thing, all the shipping doubled for some reason here, and it's, you know how it is. Once they raise the price, it never goes back down. So I actually have like a shipping cost anywhere on the planet, pretty much $45 New Zealand. Now, due to the dollar being strong, I've been able to keep the price down and still make a few bucks. But as the US dollar loses traction, I got to adjust accordingly. So just a heads up on that, and I really appreciate those of you that have went ahead and purchased that. I'm getting some great feedback. People are loving it, and that's so gratifying for me, because I worked really hard to try and make something that would be, you know, tonalism for the ages. You know, something. The great thing about books is that they last. Everything here, like I've been around on YouTube for a long time, and my approach here on the channel is designed to be, you know, I love to share what I do and impart information, but let's face it, I do it my way, and it's sustainable. A lot of people, you know, they basically, how can I put it? They basically do things that they think they have to do to get views, and what they find is they end up getting exhausted, you know. That's not me. That's not what we do here. What we do here is we love painting and we love tonalism, and this book totally reflects that. So, yeah. Anyway, talking about the painting again. So the great thing about that burnt sienna is you can have little bits of it peeking through, and it creates a really high vibratory thing. And now, speaking of books, there's another book on tonalism out there. There's only one, and it was written a long, long time ago by Burge Harrison. You can find it for free online. It's called Landscape Painting by Burge Harrison. That's Birge. And one of the things he talks is there's no pictures, not many pictures in it, because of course it's from the old days, right, before color reproduction was a thing. But he has some good information there, and one of his things that he teaches in there is that he considers one of the major innovations of tonalism to be using a red substrate, a red ground color in the paintings instead of the brown that would have been favored by the masters. Now, back in the day, the brown was considered an innovation as well, because with a brown background, with any background color except white, you can leave bits of it coming through, so you can have more immediate and expressive brushwork and not have to worry about going in and filling in those little areas. Like if you have a white canvas, one of the things that's going to choke a lot of the life out of your painting is you having to go in and carefully make sure all those little bits of white are filled in. Whereas with this approach, I make an expressive brush stroke, and I just leave little bits of the red peeking through, and it looks fine. I am inclined to sort of, I'm not disagreeing with Burge. He's really correct that the red is awesome. But I worked through, I went from the burnt sienna background color to burnt umber, very dark and textured. I went down that rabbit hole for quite a while. All of this is on the channel. You just go digging around. From there, I ended up moving into hardboard, and I just love that brownish. It's a reddish brown, I'll give it that, but still very much a brown. I let little bits of that peek through, and that looks awesome. And I get good tonalist work that way. So I don't believe you have to paint on red to get good tonalist results. But Burge is right that it does give you a certain vibration, very much so. And yeah, so try it. And if you're trying to make good tonal type paintings, or any kind of painting really, and you're working on white, stop it. You know, what you want to do, even it's like, I'm not working with mineral spirits, but a lot of people I've seen, like good old Richard Schmidt, he'll go in there and you know, with a big rag, or Dennis Sheehan, and he just start rubbing paint down with the you know, the mineral spirits, and he's toning his canvas that way. That's not a bad approach either, you know. It all depends. Now, for Impressionism, maybe it's not as critical. You can have little bits of white peeking around things. It's a brighter, less tonal approach. I don't work in an Impressionist way. Even when I'm doing paintings that aren't exactly tonalism, I wouldn't call what I do, like these beach scenes I've been doing recently, I wouldn't call that Impressionism either. It's actually still technically pretty dang tonal, but not the classic tonalism like this painting is here. Yeah. Anyway, that Mike's green, we got just a second. So I'll take that basic Mike's green and I'll tone it and tint it different ways. And one of the things I wanted to remember is, like, say you got green grass, right? A great tip is to add some permanent green light to that Mike's green for your grassy areas. It'll give you a very fresh, different sort of green that's than the green that's up in the trees. Of course, if you're doing that, you don't want to put that permanent green light up in the trees as well. There, you know, my favorite color to do highlights in trees is orange. Yeah. And a little bit of yellow, of course, too. It all looks good, adds up to beautiful trees. Anyway, I can see we're getting kind of close to the end of the video. Thanks for watching to the end of the video. The YouTube algorithm likes that a lot. It will start putting the video in front of other people it thinks might be interested in watching this old guy paint. Yeah. If you can, support me, you know, in some way. I would appreciate it. There's a donation page on my website. There's a thank you button here. You can send me a donation. If you're getting good information, good value, buy the book. Yeah, I don't make much on that, but you'll have a nice book. You won't regret it. And just leave a comment if you're, if you don't have any do-re-mi. Anyway, until I come back with another video for your edification and enjoyment, do me a favor, do me a solid. Take good care of yourself, your family, all your loved ones. Have a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season and Happy New Year. And while you're doing all that, please stay out of trouble. God bless you and your family.